The Galactic Veterinary Council had seen many species join their ranks over the millennia, but none quite like the humans. When Earth finally achieved interstellar travel and petitioned to join the council, many members scoffed at the idea. Humans were newcomers, primitives who had barely left their own solar system. What could they possibly know about the delicate art of xenobiological medicine? Dr. Zrixthal, a Valorian with 6 manipulator appendages and compound eyes that could see into the ultraviolet spectrum, had been particularly vocal in his opposition. He had studied for 3 centuries to master his craft, learning the physiologies of over 400 sentient and semi-sentient species. The thought of some bipedal mammal from a backwater planet treating patients alongside him was almost insulting. That was before the incident on Station Kepler 442 Jessica. Martinez stood in the waiting room of the orbital veterinary clinic, her dark eyes scanning the datapad in her hands. The young human veterinarian had been assigned to Kepler 442 as part of Earth's cultural exchange program, much to the dismay of the station's senior staff. She wore the standard white coat of her profession, though hers bore the blue emblem of Earth rather than the traditional silver of the Galactic Council. "Dr. Martinez," the receptionist's translator crackled. "Dr. Zrixthal wants to see you in examination room 7, immediately." Jessica's jaw tightened. She'd been on the station for 3 weeks, and the Valorian had barely spoken to her except to criticize her techniques or question her credentials. But duty was duty. She grabbed her medical kit and headed down the corridor. The scene in room 7 was chaos. A Krath spawn lay thrashing on the examination table, its crystalline exoskeleton glowing an angry red. The creature was roughly the size of a small horse, with multiple legs ending in razor-sharp points that scraped against the metal surface. 2 veterinary assistants stood pressed against the far wall, their faces pale with fear. Dr. Zrixthal stood at what he probably considered a safe distance, his translator emitting rapid-fire observations. Severe toxin exposure. Nervous system compromised. The creature is beyond sedation at this stage. Its biology has entered cascade failure. I recommend immediate euthanasia before it injures itself further or damages station property. "No," came a voice from the doorway. James Cooper pushed past Jessica into the room. The Australian xenobiologist had arrived on the same transport as Jessica, assigned to study the station's exotic fauna. He was tall, with sun-weathered skin and calm blue eyes that seemed perpetually amused by the universe's absurdities. "That's Razor," James said quietly, moving toward the thrashing creature. "He belongs to Ambassador Kreenal. The ambassador's daughter raised him from a spawn. You euthanize him and you'll create an interstellar incident." Dr. Zrixthal's compound eyes swiveled toward the human. "Then what do you suggest, Primitive?" "The creature is suffering. Its pain receptors are firing across its entire nervous system. Any attempt to approach will result in injury or death. Our sedatives don't work on Krath physiology during cascade failure. Their metabolism accelerates and burns through any chemical intervention within seconds." James didn't respond. He simply walked closer to the examination table, his movements slow and deliberate. The Krath spawn's head whipped toward him, mandibles clicking in agitation. A low keening sound emerged from its breathing spiracles, a sound of pure distress. "James, be careful," Jessica whispered, her hand instinctively reaching for the emergency stasis button on the wall. But James kept walking. When he was within striking distance of those deadly limbs, he stopped. Then, impossibly, he knelt down, making himself smaller, less threatening. He extended one hand, palm up, toward the creature. "Easy, buddy," James whispered. His voice was barely audible, but something in its tone carried across the room. "Easy now. I know it hurts. I know you're scared." The Krath spawn's thrashing slowed just a fraction. Dr. Zrixthal's translator sputtered. "Impossible. The creature cannot understand." "Shh!" Jessica cut him off, her eyes locked on James and the alien creature. She'd seen her colleague work before, back on Earth with animals that other vets had deemed too dangerous or too traumatized to treat. James had a gift, something that transcended language or species. "That's it," James continued, his voice maintaining that same steady, soothing cadence. "Nobody's going to hurt you. We're here to help. Easy, buddy, easy." His hand moved closer, inch by inch. The Krath spawn's crystalline body had stopped glowing red and was slowly fading to orange, then yellow. The keening sound became softer, almost questioning. When James's fingers finally made contact with the creature's carapace, something remarkable happened. The crath spawn stilled completely. Its breathing spiracles fluttered in a rapid pattern that Dr. Zrixthal recognized as a comfort response, something he'd only seen in juvenile crath spawn with their parents. "Jessica," James said, still not taking his eyes off the creature, "I need you to take a blood sample and run a full toxicology panel. I'm betting this isn't natural poisoning. Check for synthetic compounds, specifically anything that would trigger a fear response." Jessica moved quickly, her training taking over. Within minutes, she had the sample and was feeding it into the station's analyzer. The results made her blood run cold. "It's Drexenol 7, she reported. "A controlled substance. Illegal in most sectors. It's used to make creatures aggressive for fighting rings." James's jaw clenched, but his voice remained gentle as he continued stroking the crath spawn's carapace. Someone poisoned him. Wanted to make the ambassador look bad. Maybe start a diplomatic incident when his daughter's pet went berserk and had to be destroyed. Dr. Zrixthal approached slowly, his professional curiosity overcoming his prejudice. "How did you calm it?" "No sedative, no psionic intervention, just words. The creature cannot possibly understand your language." James looked up at the Valorian, a slight smile on his face. "Language isn't just words, Doc. It's tone, body language, intent. Back on Earth, we've been working with animals for thousands of years, not just studying them, but living alongside them, partnering with them. Dogs, horses, cats, dolphins. We learned that sometimes the most sophisticated medical equipment in the universe can't replace a gentle hand and a calm voice." "Easy, buddy," James repeated to the crath spawn, who was now a peaceful blue color. "We've got you. You're safe now." Jessica prepared the antidote, her hand steady despite the adrenaline still coursing through her system. As she administered the treatment, the crath spawn remained calm, trusting the strange two-legged creature who had somehow communicated safety in a language older than words. Dr. Zrixthal watched in silence. When Ambassador Kreenall arrived an hour later to find her daughter's beloved pet sleeping peacefully, sedated and recovering, the Valorian did something unprecedented. He approached Jessica and James, his translator conveying words he never thought he'd speak. "I was wrong about humans," he said simply. "Perhaps your species has something to teach us after all." James grinned. "We're all just doing our best, Doc. For the animals, for the creatures who trust us to help them. That's universal, no matter what planet you're from." As news of the incident spread through the station, the Galactic Veterinary Council began to reconsider their position on human practitioners. Perhaps these newcomers, with their primitive technology and unorthodox methods, understood something fundamental that the older races had forgotten in their pursuit of advanced science. Sometimes, the most powerful medicine in the universe was simply letting a scared creature know, "You're not alone. Easy, buddy. We've got you."